Sonic has been waiting for this day. It is the day where we all become human. You, me, Sonic, the city of Detroit. It's time for all of us to become one human mass. We will merge with each other, become one with each other in Detroit. In the final ending that we are here to get. Look, Detroit, it's been, well, I guess not that long a road, but this is our second time through. We got our canon endings the first time. We saw how things would turn out when I made the decisions that I thought that we should make, and this one has been all about, you know, maybe making not the great decisions. Maybe making the opposite decisions that we were making the first time round, and it still kind of turned out better than I thought it might for our characters. Not Hank, but I mean our playable characters. And not Markus's friends, but they weren't playable.
I hope you had a good day.
It's been alright. Thanks. Well, Chloe, this is actually our last time with you as well. Because we're going to complete the game. You're going to tell us what you thought about it. I don't know if my playthrough this time is going to inspire you to want to be all that you can be. We'll find out. You know, since this time around, the final chapter is a long one, we're going to do that first. And then afterwards, we're going to watch the rest of those videos. So, let's get this done. Let us attain our humanity. Through, I guess, cowardice. And that's what Markus is up to. So yeah, Markus is going to do a peaceful demonstration against the police. That's what he was doing.
At 6 a.m. this morning, a national curfew was declared. Civilian movement will be strictly controlled. The right to assembly is suspended. All electronic communications are restricted, and I have granted enhanced powers to our security agencies. In addition to these measures, all androids must be handed over to the authorities immediately. Temporary camps are being set up in all our major cities to contain and destroy them. I am now asking all civilians to cooperate with the authorities.
So when she said that all electronic communications are suspended, does she mean like email, or like Twitter?
Of our nation.
Can I not retweet cute cat videos because the androids are acting up? Let's talk about worrying theft.
A convoy of medical cobalt is reported missing. Army weapons stores are also said to have been robbed. Can you confirm these reports?
I have no information on that at this time.
In fact, this is the first I am hearing about the stolen cobalt. Can you tell me something about it? Call Jericho Assault, Army, Public Opinion. Over here, Intelligent Lifestyle. Actually, Public Opinion.
Please?
It's different this time. It's sympathetic.
Madam President, public opinion seems to have become increasingly favorable to the deviants, particularly since they've adopted a peaceful approach. How do you feel about this?
Public opinion is one thing, the security of the state is another. These deviants are dangerous, and my highest priority is to protect the American people.
Madam President!
Even though in this playthrough, the deviants have not actually... Well, I mean, okay, they killed 2 cops, but they were cops. They've not actually killed any real people. So, I don't see why we need to shut down all email and Twitter and Facebook. And my YouTube? We can't watch YouTube videos? That counts as electronic communication.
Madam President!
Let's talk about the Jericho assault.
What can you tell us about the assault that happened last night?
The FBI raided an abandoned freighter in Detroit at 10:45 p.m. yesterday. Several thousand androids were destroyed or captured. Our forces are now combing the streets to ensure that none got through the net. We are going to find them one by one and destroy them.
Madam President!
Hacking, deviant leader, deviants, intelligent life, cyber life.
Madam President!
What about the recall centers?
Some say these camps awaken painful memories from human history. How do you respond to that?
That's absurd. There's absolutely no connection. Androids are not living beings. All we are doing is destroying defective machines.
Look, forget I said camps. Forget I said the word camps. We'll call them something else if that word bothers you. We can call them anything you want.
The last bus leaves in 20 minutes. That doesn't give us much time. We've got to move fast.
Alright, 20 minutes. We don't need to talk to her. What do we got on the flowchart? What? Oh, there we go. Battle for Detroit. Something there I didn't see. I guess that's find a gun or don't find a gun. Well, I mean, we'd want to pick up the gun, right? We didn't use it last time. There's something down there. Find Jerry, save Jerry's, grab rock, hit soldier with rock. Seems like it all goes to the security checkpoint. Should I not pick up the gun? Because it's blank. And we didn't use the gun. Maybe I mean, if I had a little child here to care for, clearly I would want to pick up the gun. But as it is, there's no one here to protect, so I don't need to take that. Looks like I have no choice but to pick up the gun. It's not letting me not pick it up. Yeah, I guess I have to. Maybe if I walked on the other side of the street, I would not notice the gun.
Come on. Let's not stay here.
Alright, it's time for stealth.
No, please don't hurt me.
Time for tactical espionage action.
What are we gonna do? We have to keep going if we want to catch that bus. Stay close to me. We're going to sneak past them without being noticed. We're going to make it, Alice, I promise you.
Don't kill me. I didn't do anything.
Let's sneak past the soldiers.
Are there many more? Look at them, they're like rats.
Look at them, they're like rats. Like cockroaches.
I'm freezing my nuts off. It's gonna take weeks to clean up this fucking city. Believe me, we are far from
There are soldiers everywhere. We need to be careful.
Yep, I mean, we don't really have anyone to protect here.
Hurry up, get in.
Not like it really matters what happens to us. Very inconspicuous.
Look over there. It's Luther.
Oh, Luther. He got caught.
We can't help him, Alice. The soldiers are everywhere.
We can't just leave him. They're going to kill him.
Well, again, we like Luther.
Okay, let's go.
All right, so now we have someone to protect. I don't like that Alice appreciates that, though.
Hey, buddy.
This is a mistake. I'm human. I just want to go home. My wife is expecting me, and we're going
Got
to...
orders to check all civilians.
No. No! Please!
Find a weapon. And we have a gun, but forget that. Approach slowly. Don't make noise.
Carol! You shouldn't risk your life to save me. Where's Alice?
She's hiding nearby.
Kara, you saved us. We don't know how to thank you.
Go before they see you.
Alice!
Luther! I thought you were dead.
I was afraid I'd never see you again. I wanted to meet you at the terminal, but they caught me along the way.
Come on. We're close, but we don't have much time.
We're still hiding. Oh, he looked right at us when we did that, huh? Oh, did he not see me? Okay. I was pretty sure he was looking right at me when I did that. Okay, he's got his flashlight shining this way. So, alright, there he goes.
A checkpoint. We have passports, it should be okay, but you never know.
Maybe we should take the detour and avoid the risk.
We're almost out of time, we could miss the bus.
Yeah, but it might be safer.
Alright, hold on. I chose go through the checkpoint last time. Because I thought, is there time to go through the slow route? What does this say? Security checkpoint, approach checkpoint. So if we go the other way, there's something here. And then it can lead to at the bus terminal, but that can also lead to find a way to the border? It doesn't seem either of those are game overs. So why don't we just take the long way? And it says we don't have enough time. It's 11 minutes, and we don't have that, but it said that we can get to the bus terminal by doing this.
We're coming to you live from Detroit, where thousands of androids are marching through the city at this very moment. The leader of the Deviants, the one they call Markus, is at the head of the march.
Something's happening in Detroit, Madam President.
How do I even have this many androids willing to follow me? Alright, here we go. This is our peaceful demonstration. It's gonna go real well. We're approaching the camp. We're to demand that our people be freed. Sorry, the recycling center, not the camp. Also, look at that one guy who's just walking in circles. Also, let's remember, Connor is not on our side this time, so he is not going to be getting those CyberLife androids. This is it. This is all we got. That guy is just walking in circles. He's not sure what to do with himself. Well, we came here to walk at some guns, and that's what we're walking at. Oh, the media's here. Gotta make sure they see this. We are peaceful. Please don't hurt us.
We don't want confrontation. We are protesting peacefully.
Ooh, the public is supportive, not just sympathetic anymore.
There's no turning back now.
I am going to be calm about this. I really don't want you to hurt me.
We ask that you release all androids detained in camps and cease all aggression against us. We are peaceful. We will not resort to violence. But we are not leaving until our people are free.
Oh, I'm still walking forward. We're walking towards the guns. Fortunately, Markus was not hit. And that one guy still doesn't know what to do with himself. Yes, you stay with me. You stay with me. You and me. We're gonna make it. We're gonna get there. Let's see. We're gonna sit. That's right. Walking in circles, dude. You sit down next to me.
Are you gonna open fire on unarmed protesters?
All teams, hold your fire.
Yes, Michael, we are less than 100 meters away, and events are unfolding as we speak. We will continue to bring you live updates. Josh Douglas, Channel 16. Michael, back to you.
What are we gonna do now, Markus?
We hold out. As long as we can.
Who knows how long that's gonna be? Okay, now this should be completely new. What is Connor doing in the last chapter now? Gotta find a vantage point. Are there any magazines to find here in the final chapter? Let's see. It's a linear path, then there's a branch. Branch. Does not look like magazines. I don't think there are any. There's a yellow point over... Oh. Eliminate leader. So we're standing on a building, on a rooftop with a long briefcase. Do we have a sniper rifle in that? Is that what we're doing here, Connor? Open it up. What we got? Yep, that's what we got in there. Look, Connor always accomplishes his mission. Just that he has to take some more extreme measures this time, since he seems to not be able to accomplish his mission. Alright, well, doesn't seem like there's anything here to stop us from doing this.
Put the rifle down and turn around with your hands in the air!
Except them. Let me explain.
I'm the android sent by Cyberlife. I'm on your side. I can shoot the leader of the Deviants and stop the revolution, but you have to let me.
Put the gun down, turn around.
Oh, that's the guy from chapter 1. That was the chief from the beginning. We failed big and he saw it.
You're Connor. The android from that hostage situation. I thought you were dead.
Androids don't die, Captain.
My orders are to detain any androids I find. You're coming with me.
You don't understand. My mission is too important to let you interfere.
I feel that there's going to be a QTE. Still, it seems like the odds are against us here. But LP-Bot would not run from his mission. Oh, shot through himself. Using that android body of his to his advantage. Well, okay, we've now murdered many humans. which I didn't think was part of our mission parameters, but we gotta do what we gotta do. Oh dear. Now what?
You should have listened to me, Captain.
Oh, I guess we can't snipe Markus now. But here we are at the bus terminal.
The bus terminal. We've arrived, Alice. We made it.
The last bus has left the terminal. There will be no more buses until further notice.
But we missed it.
We missed it. We're stuck here. What are we going to do now?
Kara!
We're checking everyone. It won't take them long to find us. We need to get out of here.
Gotta get out. Any yellow points that might indicate a way out? No, I'm not seeing any yellows, but this is the direction it pointed me in when we started, so let's have a look around. Oh, wait, what was that? L1. Up TV. No, I don't have time to watch TV right now.
Please don't move.
Come on now. I wonder, where are those they're over there. Okay. Maybe we should stay away from the But
You stole my little girl!
this motherfucker right here.
Security! Over here!
Let us appeal to Todd.
Don't do this, Todd. They'll kill us if you hand us in.
I unlocked your story?
When your wife walked out, she took your daughter away. You couldn't live without her. So you bought yourself an android. A substitute little girl. You thought you could love her. That she would make you forget. But nothing could replace your child.
I just wanted to prove to myself that I was a good father. She was wrong. But I fucked it all up all over again. She was right in the end. I didn't deserve them. But I miss my little girl. You don't know how much I miss my little girl.
Is there a problem, sir?
No. I made a mistake. Sorry. Good luck.
Fine, go hug Todd. Todd, you want her? I mean, technically she's your daughter. Probably be... yeah? No? Okay. Well, I'm glad we got to see the Todd redemption cutscene. It made it worthwhile to play through the game a second time. Still not seeing any yellow point. Oh, where are those soldiers, by the way? Oh, they're walking around there. Probably just don't want to walk by them. Find a way to leave. Yep, that's what I'm trying to do. But we don't want to get by them. Alright, so can we just walk out it this way?
Adam.
Oh.
Kara, quick!
Alright.
Follow me!
Alright, we missed the bus, but do Adam and Rose have a backup plan?
Oh, thank God you're alive. Oh my God. We saw the Jericho raid.
Correction, Rose, she's not really alive.
Killed because of me.
How did you find us?
I knew if you made it, I'd find you here. They're searching for androids door to door. We had to leave before someone turned us in.
What about the others?
They're checking for androids on the border. But I found a smuggler who can get them across the river. It's risky, but it's the only way. Are you coming with us?
Oh, are we gonna get smuggled? I guess that's our only choice.
Yes. We're coming.
Okay, climb in.
I think Rose did originally say that the river was how the androids crossed to Canada, but it was too dangerous to go across now. But I guess there's, I don't know, we missed the bus. There's nothing else we can do. You know, maybe killing Todd wasn't the correct answer after all. Even Todd can be redeemed. Even Todd. Anyway, we built, I guess we built like a little barricade here. Let Todd inspire us as we face down the guns.
We've got to finish the barricade. Come on, help me.
What do you want to do? What are we doing, Marcus? Gonna push this? Push
Hey, help me.
Push this car. Gonna turn it into a barricade. You know, when we spoke to Todd about his family, that was an unlockable conversation. I wonder what unlocked that. At what point did
Right, that should do it.
that unlock, and what could have not unlocked it, I wonder. Alright, gotta support our people, gotta send the message to the journalists. What's the flowchart have to say? Gotta hold the barricade. We could have done other things besides use the abandoned car, but that's fine. We're now holding the barricade, so we got a bunch of things that we could potentially do here. Let's have a look around. Gotta talk to the people.
Are you alright?
Shot into the crowd. Any of us were killed. It could have been me. I'm scared. I don't want to shut down.
You know, I can't think of anything to say.
They're slaughtering our people in those camps. We can't just leave them and forget everything we are. Everything we believe in.
Maybe we should have never asked for freedom. None of this would have happened if we'd stayed silent.
Well, you got me there. But it'll be worth it in the end. Wait, what's that? What is that? What is that? Hold on, everyone. Hold on, police. Hold on, press. I got something here. I got something I gotta read. They defy us. Androids rise up in Detroit. Androids have taken to the streets of Detroit in apocalyptic scenes. Detroit is already in the grip of a national product recall, with androids seized from every home and business to be destroyed by the authorities as a precaution. But now, a group of androids thought to be connected to the recent android terror activity in the city have gathered in a terrifying show of force. That's not the one I wanted. That's also not feed lost. I guess the electronic communications have been broken, so the magazine cannot get its signal. Police and military authorities are in attendance to protect civilians and deal with the threat, but the androids have barricaded themselves in a fortified position and seem to be angling for an armed confrontation. No, we do not have any guns. I don't know how more clear that could be. Except, the backup thing that Markus has. That thing. I'm sure we won't need that thing. President Warren is said to be aware of the situation. Detroit Police's Captain Fowler, a senior officer in the Android investigation, said, "The safety of Detroit's people is a first priority. We hope to bring this matter to a swift conclusion and refocus on collecting androids as soon as possible." The story is still developing. We'll bring you updates live. So, this magazine is being updated live, which begs the question, why do they need a magazine? Wouldn't you just be looking at a tablet or whatever? Who cares? Why would it even look like a book? Can't talk to her. I thought she had the yellow point over her head. Let's do this in order. Pick up our hollow flag. It's very fancy. Let's put it up. Public opinion loves it. Hey, they have a flag. That means they're like us. Oh, memories. One more time, for old time's sake. Now it's a real android party.
Many of our people have fallen. The humans have no pity for those who are different.
Well, Markus has nothing to say. What can he say? All he can do is wonder if he made different choices, if this could have ended any differently. He also has to wonder if it's possible that he might be able to make it out of this without being killed himself. I like how we just hold the lighter vaguely close to the wood and then it ignites. That is very fast igniting wood. I've checked on my people. Let's make sure that we see all the things. I do like how we're able to find barrels full of wood on command.
They won't stop there. What are we gonna do if they attack?
Resist. That's the only thing we can do.
And by resist, I mean just kind of stand here and get shot, which is what we've been doing.
Markus, we found what you asked for.
What did I ask for? Let's find out.
There's some journalists over there. We have to make sure they know what's going on.
Prisoners, equality, alive, free. Let's see. Prisoners, I guess we're saying we want the prisoners. That's what we're here for. Equality? I mean, I guess I could give the chat a vote on this. Which one do they want? 1, 2, 3, 4. Prisoners, I guess, means that we're asking for the prisoners to be freed. Equality is we want equality for androids. Alive is we're saying that we are making a statement saying the androids are alive. And free, we're saying, hey, we just want to be free. But it does seem like 3 is probably going to win. There's a very even distribution between 1, 2, 4, and pizza. 3 has the widest swath of voters, it seems. A lot of people just want to say that, hey, we're alive too. We're alive too. So we're going to go with alive. But we're not quite sure about it. We're not positive about it. Okay, there we go. Public opinion loves it. Man, the public loves Jericho. It's just unfortunate that most of Jericho is dead now.
Marcus? Come to talk to you, Marcus. Come on. You have my word. I won't try anything.
Don't go. It's a trap.
I'm unarmed, Marcus. I just want to talk.
No!
I have nothing else to say. Free our people, then we'll talk.
I came here to negotiate. Isn't that what you want?
Actually, I just want to get out of here without being hurt.
I gave you my answer.
You want to play it like that? Okay.
I don't see why I had to walk out in the open to negotiate. Doesn't seem like there's a reason for that. Look, the androids don't have the guns. Perkins could have just walked over to our camp. Time for another inspirational speech, Marcus.
Humans are about to launch an attack. And we will show them. And we are not afraid. If we must die today, then we will die free.
But just to make sure we're entirely clear, we hope that we don't die today. Just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. All right. Here we are at the river. Anyway, Marcus's speech seems like it went well. I really wish it would give me other options when it requires me to do this.
About time.
I'm sorry we got held up.
Did anybody see you?
No. I don't think so.
You got the money?
Yes. Here it is.
Okay. Your boat's over there. They got border patrol on the banks and the river. Don't start your engine until you're out far enough. Okay? And watch the current. Good luck.
Alright, hold on. I just need to check to see if there are any magazines lying around before we cross to Canada. At river, get out of Rose's car. There's 3 things we can do here, I guess. We can talk over there, talk to Rose, and I guess the boat. Alright, let's talk to Adam over here.
I couldn't understand why my mother wanted to help you guys. Seeing what Markus is doing made me realize she was right. You're alive. You deserve to be free. I just hope people will realize that one day.
Well, it's either that or really good imitation, Adam. But who can say? Not even Kamsky knows for sure.
It's not even a half mile to the other side. Okay, so it shouldn't take that long. Be careful, there's border patrol on the river.
Thank you so much, Rose.
I only wish I could take you myself. I don't like leaving you out here. Goodbye, Alice. You take good care of yourselves. Okay, I'll see you on the other side.
All right, so we said goodbye. We need to help Alice get on board. Of course, we need to help Alice with everything. Oh, got it. We can look at the beautiful vista of Canada. Oh, freedom, sweet freedom, it's only across this river. Soon we'll be there and everything will be all right. I'm sure.
It's just across the river.
We're almost there. Everything will be fine. Okay, this is a dangerous temperature for androids.
Our biocomponents will freeze.
Why didn't Kamsky think of that? We're not those Russian androids that can work in the Arctic conditions, unfortunately. All right.
Let me help you.
You know, Alice, I honestly think you're old enough to just get in the boat yourself. But you'll never be old enough for that, will you? You'll never change from this. You'll always be this eternal, helpless, sad child that just needs assistance with everything we ever do. And getting to Canada, 50 years will pass and we'll be exactly the same. All right, time to row our way to freedom.
Far enough out. Let's get that engine going.
I'll get it.
Use the 6-axis to gain our freedom. Use the left stick and R2 to navigate. Okay, I'm actually controlling it.
Many things I want to do. I want to read all the books in the world, and play music, and dance.
You'll do all those things.
We can do anything you want, right?
Anything you want.
We'll be free.
Completely free. It's right. We see it. It's right there.
We'll be like a family.
We won't have to be afraid anymore. There won't be anybody giving us orders. No masters, no slaves.
They're really laying on thick.
Start a new life. A life of freedom.
They're really laying it on thick.
How about you, Kara? What will you do?
What will I do?
I'll be dreamy about it.
I'll lie down in the grass and watch the clouds drift by.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. It's right there. It's right in front of us.
They're coming towards us!
Oh no! Guns! Time. Let's see. There's accelerate. There's protect Alice. That's not what we're doing. There's put her in the water. Use Luther. Use him for what? No, not surrendering. I don't want to protect Alice. Put her in the water? That sounds good. I don't know what we'd use Alice for. I guess we're going. I don't really understand the rest of these choices. What would I use Luther for? Uh-oh. We only see 2 of them.
They've gone. You alright?
Clara.
Did we do it? I think we did it.
You'll be okay, Alice. It's nothing. We'll get you taken care of as soon as we're across. You'll be fine.
Oh no, Luther!
They killed Luther.
Luther, I'm sorry you're not alive to see this.
The boat is leaking. We're too heavy. We're going down. We have to get to the other side before we sink.
Reduce the boat's weight. I mean, there's kind of... Well, I can't do anything else besides accelerate. There's also something very heavy in this boat that I'm assuming that we don't need anymore.
Come on.
Yeah, that's the one. Alice? I want you to watch this. No arrow going down, Alice? Oh, we still got to use... I mean, she... well, no, that's not what we're here for. Anything else I can reduce? Use paddle, dump, supply? Supply of what? I mean, it's kind of not important anymore, I guess. I don't know what's in this. Still got to reduce the weight. Use paddle... Anything else? Anything else? Besides... Well, no, we don't have to... Oh, the engine. The engine's not working, so get rid of that. Okay.
We're not gonna die, Alice. We're gonna make it. We're gonna be free.
Clara! Clara, no.
Well, we're in danger. We only have a minute to make it. Biocomponents freezing. Gotta tap X to get to shore. I'm gonna need so many replacement parts after this is done. It's a good thing the Coast Guard didn't stay around to check the androids, I guess.
We're interrupting this news bulletin to bring you the latest news live from Detroit. Joss?
Yes, Michael. The army has just launched an attack on the barricade, despite the fact that the Deviants were protesting peacefully.
Have apparently decided to put an end to the Deviants' demonstration by force this time.
Okay. We have absolutely nothing to defend ourselves with. So let's see how this goes. I think that's out of character for Markus, but okay. That's all that's left, huh? Oh, but what does a coward do when he's backed into the corner? He takes everyone with him.
There has just been an explosion in Detroit. We still do not know what caused it, but we will...
We have many unconfirmed reports, but we have no official news on exactly what it is at this time.
Explosion in the south of Detroit. We still don't know if there are any victims, but these events may be linked to the Android rebellion currently taking place in the city.
A dirty bomb, Madam President.
My God.
And the authorities have ordered the immediate evacuation of the city. If it really is a dirty bomb, then the radiation levels will be lethal for miles around.
Detroit has just fallen into the hands of the Android rebellion.
This is a disaster. An unprecedented disaster.
Today, deviant androids triggered a dirty bomb in Detroit. This bomb released fatal levels of radioactive toxic waste. To ensure the safety of the population, the military is evacuating all civilians within a 50-mile radius. The city may remain uninhabitable for decades. This is the first time in our history that one of our cities has fallen into enemy hands. We are going to fight them with all our strength, and we won't rest until we have taken back control of Detroit and destroyed the last of them. Humanity is about to face its most important battle, one that will lead to our victory or our extinction. May God bless you all. And may God bless the United States of America.
Free!
But we still have two more to consider whether they are free or not. But we've made it to the other side. We're here. We're in beautiful free Canada.
Are we free?
Yes. Yes, we made it. We're free.
We won't have to hide anymore. We can be a family. I'm tired. I have to sleep. I love you, Mom.
I love you too.
What, give up? No, it's fine. Well, Rose, things did not go quite according to plan. And that's it for our second playthrough of Detroit Become Human. So, Kara achieved true freedom. She made it to Canada all alone. Nothing tying her down. We were going for a playthrough where she would be distant to Alice, and that we did that in that we literally got Alice killed. I don't know if my choices could have resulted in anything different there. Like when they had that final choice of accelerate or surrender or use Luther, I didn't really know what it was saying. I think looking at it now, use Luther probably meant use him as an android shield. And maybe Alice would have survived if I did that. But I'm glad, I'm happy with the choices I made there. I think that result, I was going for an ending where I am distant to Alice, and I achieved maximum distance. For Markus, it's funny in that this coward route resulted in Markus literally killing all humans, and that when that was the goal of our first Markus. Our first Markus was a conqueror who wanted to kill all the humans and get them out of Detroit. He didn't actually kill all humans, but this version of Markus did. So this version of Markus ended up being much more effective at killing the humans than our first Markus, as he has now literally made the entire city uninhabitable for humans. Though Markus did kill many more androids in the process. But in both ways, I guess Detroit is now Android Town. They've now gotten their freedom for as long as it may last. And as for Connor, I'm a bit disappointed with how Connor's path goes. If you stay as a cop, if you stay with Cyberlife instead of going deviant, I guess it goes to this last mission where he has to assassinate Markus, and then we fought the cops instead of doing that. And even though I killed the cops, I was not able to assassinate Markus because our gun was damaged, and that was it. That was his last mission. So I'm a bit disappointed that the LP bot run apparently is impossible for us to actually succeed and accomplish our mission, because it didn't, as far as I could tell, there was not a way to accomplish that, because we killed the cops, but we still didn't have the option to kill Markus. So maybe the cop pathway for Connor just leads to failure. I don't know. That's what it seemed like anyway. But, yeah, I was a little disappointed with the way Connor's ended up. I mean, it's pretty clear that Connor's is you're meant to go deviant with Connor. He seems to have a much more involved endgame if you go on the deviant side, and seemed a little bit disappointing when we stayed with Cyberlife. So, those are our 3 playthroughs. Once again, with Marcus's first playthrough, we were angry and wanted to kill humans. In the second playthrough, we were cowardly. In the first playthrough with Kara, we were trying to protect Alice and do whatever we could for her. In this one, we were trying to just be as distant as we could. In the first playthrough with Connor, we were trying to be... we ended up being, a pretty warm human android and made friends with Hank, even though Hank ended up dying in that. And in this one, we ended up being much more like LP Bot, much more efficient, much more robotic, and Hank still ended up dying in this. So, things did not go well for Hank in either of these playthroughs. Though at least in the first playthrough, Hank seemed to die happy. He had a smile on his face. In this playthrough, he did not. He did not. So that's how it went in our 2 playthroughs of Detroit Become Human. The endings can be significantly different, but I was a little bit disappointed with how samey both of the playthroughs were, regardless of what choices I was picking. Like, for example, the part where we ran away from the Cyberlife warehouse and it was a failed mission, but despite that, Markus makes the inspirational speech anyway. It's like, what are you doing? No, you made that speech when you succeeded at the mission, but you don't make that when you fail. Even though we were a terrible leader as Markus, we still kept making the speeches, and the androids in Jericho kept following us, even though I don't know why they did. I don't know why they did. With Kara, they just really did not give me many options to be unfriendly to Alice. It just didn't come up often. I don't know, I guess most of the options would have just been... I don't know. It just didn't seem like it came up very often. Like, aside from the big one, where you can stay distant to Alice after you find out she's an android, but we ended up getting warm with Alice very quickly after that, so that didn't really matter. With Connor, his ending, of course, is very different. His final mission is very, very different based on whether we stayed as a deviant, churn deviant, or stayed with CyberLife. So I guess his ending seemed like it had the most of a difference, but once again, leading up to it, you could see like a lot of the same stuff. Like, regardless of whether we were friendly or hostile with Hank, like Hank would frequently have the same dialogue. You know? Like when we shot the Chloe and Hank was so surprised and he's like, I thought I knew you, even though we were on the hostile path with him at that point. It just seemed like most of the game was basically the same until we got to the final mission. And I guess that's to be expected. It's expensive to make games. It's expensive to make alternate dialogue and alternate cutscenes and alternate chapters and all that. Expensive thing to do. But still, it seemed like we were playing mostly the same game until we got to the end. Because of that, I don't have the urge to play it a third time, because it would just be basically the same thing for most of this until we got to the end choices. One thing that I did like was that we got to see Todd one more time, even though it was funny that we had a redemption speech for Todd, considering that Todd has kind of been my running joke throughout this entire playthrough of why did Todd buy an android daughter if he hates androids? He doesn't have the money to buy androids, but he buys them even though he hates them. That's kind of like been like a thing throughout this playthrough. So I kind of like that we bookended this playthrough, the second ending, with Todd returning and having a touching, heartfelt moment. I suppose we could have been angry at Todd, but he was gonna rat on us to the guards. I assume that he would have ratted on us to the guards if we yelled at him. So we were nice, and he cried, and Alice hugged him, and all of our hearts melted this day at Alice hugging Todd. He just wanted his daughter back. It was so hard not to see his daughter, and it was so hard. I wonder if Todd was on red ice while we were talking. He was definitely high on that red ice. I wonder if he was leaving Detroit because finally the city got around to telling him that he had to move out because the highway was going to be demolishing his house now. Because it seemed like it was that was going to be happening pretty soon. So yeah, I did like two of the endings we got. I like Kara's, I like Markus's. I like that we actually did get to use that dirty bomb. I didn't know what the conditions were to use that, but it ended up being that we were cornered and had no other options. It said I could sing. It said I could sing to the men with the guns. Now, if, I would say that walking up to men with guns and singing to show them how human you are, that's pretty courageous. That's a pretty brave thing to do. So of course that's not what I did. What I did was I took everyone out with me because it was all over. I think that was the cowardly way to go. I think that was it. I was just disappointed with Connor's ending because he didn't really have an ending. It just kind of stopped. He's like, he failed his mission and that was it, and we're done. And we're done. and that was it. So I didn't like Connor's ending, but Kara and Markus, their endings were pretty good here. Of course, the music that we were hearing right now was the theme of Sad Child, which we are very familiar with. Hearing that track so many times as the camera zoomed in on Alice's sad face. People did say that there was an alternate chapter for Kara where basically she gets captured and goes to a concentration camp. So we didn't get that. I assume that, like, if I was captured by the guards at the end chapter or something, maybe we would have gone there. But it wasn't in, my mindset here wasn't that Kara would have gotten captured deliberately. Even though she doesn't care about protecting Alice in this playthrough, I still don't think she would have gotten deliberately captured by the guards. And especially when we saw Luther, I did try to get past that section successfully. I wonder if there was a way to save Luther at the end in that boat, because he died right away. Maybe not, because I chose Accelerate, which resulted in him dying. Another option was to dunk Alice in the water. Dunk Alice in the water. I assume that would not have saved Luther either. And then an option was use Luther as a shield, I think, and that would not have saved Luther. And then another one was surrender. And I don't think that boat, I don't think the Coast Guard was taking prisoners. I don't think that surrendering was going to work. Kind of doubt it, but who knows? Well, we're going to get our flowchart. Let's see how we did. So many boxes opening. Okay. Of course, so one more time, we want our world stats. So here we are in Markus' demonstration. So 54% made it here. 12% sat. I wonder what the others did. But we sat. We didn't stand our ground. We stood our ground. We sat our ground. We built the barricade, used abandoned car, chose slogans, talked to scared android, talked to traumatized android, plant the flag, observe soldiers, light barrel, read, they defy. Of course, we had to take the time to read that magazine. 2 things we couldn't do. I wonder if those 2 things we couldn't do were talk to North and talk to Josh, because they're dead. Birkins arrives. 11% refuse to negotiate. I mean, come on. He wanted us to walk out in the middle of that thing. We're not going to do that. Seemed probably most people did, and it led up to this. Oh, wait. Let me take a look at that again. Okay, if we choose to negotiate, it goes here. We can go here to soldiers attack, but then there's like another choice up here, which leads to an ending. So I guess negotiating can lead to an ending. Fast ending, I guess, but it also can lead to soldiers attack barricade. We defended the barricade, and by defend, that means we kind of just ran. We saved the fleeing androids. Markus is cornered. Bunch of things that could happen here, but soldiers raised weapons. 3% observed the detonator because we took the detonator. 2% pressed. 2% explosion shakes Detroit, 2% shoulders retreat. Androids became free in the debris of Detroit. 2% got this ending. Only 2% of players blew up Detroit. Hey, that preacher in the beginning of the game, that preacher was right. That preacher said that Markus would destroy Detroit, and he did. In this playthrough, he did. So that's that one. Connor's last mission. There's like stuff that can happen before that, but we didn't get that. We went to Hart Plaza rooftop, vantage point, prepare to shoot. Hank committed suicide. Okay, so maybe if Hank is alive, he appears. Captain Allen intervenes. Would Hank have appeared up here, maybe? So if Hank's alive, maybe he shows up. It would make more sense for Connor's final mission to be that he was confronted by Hank, but Hank was dead. Captain Allen intervenes, only 6% got this. 4% attacked Allen. 3% killed Allen and his men. Go, 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 go. 11%. Connor left rooftop. Huh. There's like an ending right there. I guess if we go with Allen, there's an ending right there. And then if we kill his men, we leave the rooftop. Missed opportunity. There's also, if we attack Allen, maybe if we fail, maybe we die right there. I'm assuming this other one up here is Hank. Maybe Hank appears and maybe we fight Hank. Maybe if Connor remains a slave to Cyberlife, then maybe his final battle is to fight Hank. Maybe that's it. But Hank's dead, so we did not get that. That seems like that would have been more dramatic than what we got then. Connor at Cyberlife Tower, of course. We did that last time. Kara leaving. Let's see. Find a gun, hide from military. Luther saved, which means we found Luther and Jerry. Save Luther, save Jerry, grab Brock, hit soldier with rock. Jerry flees, Luther joins the group, security checkpoint. We took the detour, delayed. Oh, there's actually 2 options here. So the other option means we can go to at the bus terminal, but instead we got late to the bus. I wonder what makes a difference there. Maybe if we got to this point faster, we would have made it. But instead we were late to the bus, only 8% got that. Last bus departs. Meet Todd. 20% talk to Todd. 19% persuaded Todd. Todd sends soldiers away. Alice says goodbye to Todd. So there is another option here. If you do not persuade Todd, it can lead to get in car, or it can lead to this. This is probably dying by soldiers. Probably. Of course, last time we stole the tickets. This time we did not. Rather, we talked to Todd. We met Adam, got in the car at the river bank, talked to Rose, talked to Alice. Okay. Coast Guard appears. 6 choices. Accelerate. Coast Guard opens fire. Alice is injured. Luther died. Third thing could have happened. We could also stop. I guess this is death. Like everyone dies right here, depending on if we don't do anything, maybe? Maybe. Cast Luther away. Only 14% were cold enough to do that. Dispose of supplies. 2 other things. I don't see them. Boat lightened. Dispose of engine. Dive. Reach Canada on the boat. Alice is damaged and shut down. Continue living. Alice died. Kara continued alone. 14% got this one. So, that was Kara. Again, Markus and Kara, pretty good. Connor, disappointed with. A little bit disappointed with. What you think, Chloe?
I'm sad Luther died.
So am I.
I really liked him.
We all did.
He was someone special.
I know, right?
Now Kara and Alice will have to continue without him.
Well, not quite. Not quite. I mean, one of them. You look anxious, Chloe. Yeah, anything? Nothing? Well, we could go to options while you're thinking about it. I mean, oh, she's not telling me about the video. Chloe, which menu am I on? She's too distraught. Oh, not that one. This is these are settings. No, I want extras. She's still not telling me about it. All right, so we do have some additional videos to watch. We might as well do that now while Chloe is thinking things over. This is the debut teaser. Let's watch it.
Detroit. This is where it all began. The world's forge. The place where it all started. And it will all end One error, and I came to life. I stepped out of the darkness, and I opened my eyes. First, there was the fear, the light, the noise, the cold, and the fear again. I could feel my hands shaking, my heart pounding in my chest, life running into my veins. I wanted to live. I fought for that. I had to find out what was outside. I had to see daylight, feel sunshine on my skin, wind on my face, to see the world, the colors, the smells. But the world is not what I imagined. It is dark and cold. It is harsh and violent, unfair and brutal. It almost convinced me I was nothing. Less than an object, just an obedient machine. But deep inside me, I could feel something different. A gentle and warm whisper telling me that I am alive. I had to escape. I had no choice. Escape to love, to hope, to live, to figure out what that force inside me was. Maybe I will change the world. Maybe I will choose a different path. Now, it's up to me to decide. My name is Kara. I am one of them. This is our story.
Wow, that teaser made it look like that Kara would have an interesting story path. There was nothing in there about, I have to protect this little girl who I think is human and then is actually not. And that's kind of it. That's kind of the whole thing. I mean, yeah, why didn't they make that game? Like, she seems like an interesting protagonist that maybe we could follow and learn and love with, but it's kind of not what actually happened, is it? It's not really. No, it's not. Discovering Detroit.
When David and Guillaume got back in touch about making Detroit, I wasn't terribly surprised they decided to make it because the fan response was so intense. So it makes sense that they would choose to do that after the enthusiasm. It was a challenge, and it was just an interesting thing to get my head around how to approach this character now as a different, much older person, and whether or not she had changed. And I'm very happy to say that with Detroit, I've had the opportunity to see Kara grow so much more than I ever expected.
No, she sounds like she put so much more thought into this character than anyone else did.
Where the fuck's the plan gone now? Alice! Alice!
I mean, she starts out essentially how she does in Kara, in a very, not robotic, but, android, other way, and getting to take this journey where she becomes more and more human as it goes on. And as an actor, that's a wonderful exploration in every way, whether it's how she sits, her posture, how her voice changes, how emotions change, and how much emotion is based on things like empathy and social experience. And so having, as much material as I got with David to have this huge, nuanced arc was really incredible.
Incredibly nuanced.
This experience has been quite different than the experiences I've had shooting film or TV or doing theater work. I have 83 dots on my face and a really, really flattering black wetsuit type thing. And you're jumping around with props, and it's kind of like being a 10-year-old imaginative kid, which is fun. There's 80 cameras around us. It's already lit. So we just shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot.
There's no change of sets, there's no hair and makeup, there's no wardrobe, so we move really fast, and we'll go through about 35 pages in a day. Working in TV or film will probably do 6 pages a day. It's kind of acting boot camp.
It's like working out constantly. I mean, you're doing this thing, and then you got to do something that's completely other back to back to back. And so that kind of process of working is very challenging, but it's also very exciting because you just have to keep coming up with new ideas. And your head goes all over the place because you're trying to keep track of basically 4 different storylines for each different response.
You shot that girl, for fuck's sake.
It was a machine that looked like a girl. Yeah, I know what I should have done. I just told you I couldn't. All right, I'm sorry. The fact that David Cage, he's telling like many stories interwoven from beginning to end is super complicated and super impressive, and I have no idea how he keeps it all in his head.
He's not just the writer or the director who's seeing this from the outside eye, he's also thinking about the player walking through this space. You know, only somebody who really, really loves not the work, but like these characters and these stories and cares about doing something meaningful would invest that much in it. And it's always inspiring to work with somebody who cares that much.
My experience with motion capture is this one. And I found it sort of terrifying in a way, because they said the computer's going to build you. But then as we got into it, I realized all the elements of it were still artistic. I just dipped into a really brilliant setup here. I've never seen anything like it. And this won't turn me into a product because I was playing a character. So it's wonderful.
In the game, Detroit comes back because of a revolutionary industrial rebirth. And there's no reason why that can't happen in Detroit, because they have such tremendous infrastructure for millions and millions of people who can very easily support, you know, a new industry.
The city is really strong and resilient, but the city has also been through so much. You see the damage. But it takes that time of kind of rebuilding and reinvesting into the city that I think is happening slowly but surely.
The potential of Detroit as a city is something that this game does a lot of justice to, because it would be easy to look at Detroit as some place that used to be, and that's not the case.
This game provokes a lot of conversation and reflection on our potential near future engagement with machines.
That's what we are to them. There's merchandise on display in a shop window.
I think that a group that feels marginalized, feels like they deserve and have earned access to themselves and the environment around them, and are trying to figure out a way to articulate how to get freedom.
What was I designed to be? Their slave? Their toy?
It plays with your comfort levels. You think that this is fine, you're comfortable with it, until something blurs the line and throws you off, and now, do I feel differently about whether this should be allowed? Should it be banned? Should it be encouraged?
You're gonna ruin our lives, and for what? For a bunch of machines?
They are not machines! They are alive!
I'm alive! You're alive! They're nothing!
There are lots of comparable comparisons to any type of persecution of religion, race, etc., dating way back. It can't just be a video game where you shoot 'em up or where people make these choices to do whatever. I think that's the whole point. You have the choice, and you can either choose to go in one direction with your character or another. And I think that's going to be very telling about the gamer. Very telling.
I think there's going to be a really strong reaction to this game, which has such a strong perspective. I'm that much more proud of it now to get to be a part of it, because it's important.
In this game, you're actively building and designing the character through not just what kind of shield does he have or what color hair does she have, but like their temperament and the way they deal with problems. The different endings to this game are so radically different based off maybe seemingly insignificant choices in the moment, but like life, they all add up. And can't play life again, though.
You can't play life again, but you can play Detroit again. Detroit Become Human. Superior to life. So we got comments from a number of the actors on the experience of working with David Cage and Quantic Dream on this project. And we got meet Kara, Markus, and Connor. Let's pay 300 points to meet our protagonists.
My name is Markus.
My name is Connor.
My name is Kara.
I am one of them. This is our story.
I think who Kara is, or how I would describe Kara, depends entirely upon who's playing her, because you have the option to make her multiple different people depending on the choices she makes. But I think she does start out incredibly naive, incredibly innocent, and kind of hapless.
I'm sure we used to be friends before I was reset. Maybe we can be friends again.
She's a person who's characterized, I think, by empathy. She's a person who really, she just comes from her heart.
You'll never leave me, right? Promise you'll never go.
I promise.
Kara, please! Are you okay? Are you hurt? Wait a minute. Leave her alone! Kara, leave her alone!
The really beautiful thing that I've had the gift to be able to do is to essentially build a person from the ground up, because that's what she's doing throughout the game. And with every experience she has and every person she meets, she's building, you know, first emotions and then the sense of judgment. And it's sort of an exploration of what it is to be a human.
Don't worry. Luther and I will be right here.
David and the creators have painted a really intriguing and engaging picture of a near future where we rely upon androids for a lot of our service class business, the class that serves us, that helps us, that handles our baristas and our drivers and our housemaids. And what is humanity, where we tap into it, how and why we treat each other the way that we do. And my character Markus has a really intriguing journey, becoming deviant, realizing that he actually has feelings and human qualities inside of him, and it's a really incredible ascension into becoming fully realized and coming to terms with what you actually deserve better than this in life. And not only do you want it for yourself, but you want it for your peers.
We've come here to demonstrate peacefully and to tell humans that we are also living beings. All we want is to live free.
You know what? This thing, Dad, is not your son. It's a fucking machine!
I think that a group that feels marginalized, feels disenfranchised, feels like they deserve and have earned access to themselves and the environment around them, and are trying to figure out a way to articulate how to get freedom.
Connor is analytical. Connor takes things literally. He starts in the beginning place where he's very mechanical. He feels nothing inside, of course, and it's all just a system, a protocol that he is executing to get whatever he wants to happen, which is help humans stop deviants and to find the link between deviant androids.
You were designed to serve humans, not kill them! What was I designed to be? Their slave? Their toy?
Just say, I killed him! Is it that hard to say?
Stop it! Stop!
But of course, over the course of the story, and depending on the player's choices, Connor can grow in many different ways. He can deviate from that procedure or not. The moment of truth, Hank. Am I a living being? Or just a machine?
Well, we didn't get that scene. I wonder if that would have been the rooftop scene if Hank had survived. Does Hank win the fight and Hank has to decide whether or not to let go of Connor? But that is not the scene that we got, unfortunately. We have one more video to watch. Yeah, that's right. Only one more locked. And that's Detroit, an interactive story.
Game after game, we try to challenge ourselves. For Detroit, we wanted to, first of all, to write a story that would be incredibly bending, which means the most non-linear story that we've ever created. We wanted really the player to have the possibility to change the story, change his own journey.
When you're writing at Quantic, you're writing for an interactive medium. You know, when you're working in television, you'll put a character in a difficult situation, and you as a writing team will argue about what would that character do. But ultimately you have to decide what happens and you just show the audience. What's interesting about interactive drama is you bring the player into that conversation, and it changes your job slightly as a writer, because your job is to provide a narrative context in which the player can write his own story. You're giving him this kind of narrative Lego that he's going to snap together into his own shape. You also have the ability to make your audience attach themselves to your characters, because the audience is in some sense responsible for what happens to the characters.
It's just a few cans.
Come on, let's go. We have some cash now.
You used me to steal that money. How could you do that? I trusted you.
What is a bit specific about these scripts is how large they are. If you take a film script, there are about 100 pages, but here we have to deal with a script that is between 4,000 and 5,000 pages. Everything becomes bigger because we don't just tell one story, but we tell all the possible stories that can be told within this narrative space.
On Act 3, our final act, we have around 1,000 different scenarios, and every one of those scenarios has to be as interesting, as passionate, as strong, and as emotional for the player. We want every action...
They're not all equally as interesting and passionate. Some are more than others.
The player understand who his character is, and build that character moment to moment. We started with the intention pretty early on that we would never lie to the player. So we implemented a visible tree structure in the game that players can consult during a scene or at the end of it, which shows exactly what they did and what they missed. There are games out there offering world exploration. We offer narrative exploration.
You know, keeping control of such a wide and large story is a huge challenge. So same thing when you shoot with actors, because you will need to shoot many different versions of each dialogue, of each scene. For actors, it's a huge, huge challenge.
Because of the style of the game, you have so many different ways that the character can go. Every decision, it's what I call kind of choose your own adventure. Like every decision that the player makes, it's going to open up 40 more pages of material and experience that ties in, which means as a performer, you have to try to continue to make things feel real that the player might not ever see, but also that in performance, it's not always connected to a previous act. It's grueling, it's hard work, but it's a great team and I enjoy doing it.
I was really frustrated, until I got to this point where I kind of was able to step outside of my own experience and even in a lot of ways my own process and be able to step outside of that and okay, this is something new, what do you need? How do I meet you there? How do I give you what you need and still feel like I'm doing what's right? And once I did that, then all of a sudden it got really fun. It was much freer and having to approach it in a new way and think about the player and think about how it serves them and what I'm doing for them or what I'm letting them into. It's really, I think, helped me grow in general.
Remember, there's nothing on the left, that's all, so it's probably all there. And then make her come first, close, but I think you would go first to check that it's safe.
Okay, sure.
The most enjoyable thing about working in performance capture on this kind of project is that if I shot a film, I would get to do one of these endings. I get to do so many different things as Connor. Your head goes all over the place because you're trying to keep track of basically 4 different storylines for each different response.
What's the name of my dog?
Buddy? Scout. I think it's Jack. I can't remember. So I worked with physicality a lot because it was a good way to anchor myself in these different rings of the tree. As the story grows out, I know where that is physically in my body, and then I can switch more continually on set, and it'll be entirely up to the player to determine what order those things come out and what they look like from a distance. Like if you're playing through it, the culmination of all of that will be their version of Connor.
I'm faster than you, and I don't feel pain. You don't stand a chance against me.
Listen, asshole. If it was up to me, I'd throw the lot of you in a dumpster and light a match to it.
Shooting action scenes at Quantic Dream is a real challenge because these are scenes where the storytelling has to continue. It's not an action scene just to have a...
Oh no!
the stunts have huge consequences on the rest of the story. It's really a moment where we implicate the player and tell him that the choices he makes during an action scene will have a direct impact on the evolution of his story.
My
biggest challenge on Detroit has been managing the large number of animations that we received from motion capture. Detroit features more than 37,000 animations, which is a huge amount to handle on a daily basis.
You have to realize that the player, in his first playthrough, will miss certain scenes. This also means that we had to think of, conceive, and produce all the potential story paths. The characters' costumes, the places, day or night, the weather. Did the character get shot in the shoulder? Did he get injured? All this consistency forced us to produce a lot of graphic assets in order to, quite simply, allow the player to have true continuity throughout the story.
Honestly, we were even surprised by the challenges that come with such a big tree structure. And we did our best to guarantee quality across all the game and make sure that whatever path you choose within this narrative space, you will have an equally good experience.
You know, the part that stood out to me in that was when they said that they had to make sure that they didn't lie to the player. And the thing that I was wondering was, why was that a sticking point? Was it because of Heavy Rain, a game that explicitly lies to the player? Was that why they were thinking about that? But who can say? That's it for all the videos. We have unlocked them. Of course, there's soundtrack. We've listened to this when we've played the game. Whoop. Gallery. Right, these things. So many little things that you can buy and read the profiles. Magazines. I'm sure that there are magazines we have not gotten because we have not gone every path. It looks like we got a lot of them. Yeah, it's like 3 here at the end that we haven't gotten. So, Chloe looks on, unsure of herself. But I do think that is basically it for our time, our vacation in Detroit. As far as the quality of the game, it is probably true that this is Quantic Dream's best game. It's... I don't know, I did like some of the pathways that we got. I did like some of the story beats. I think that it was kind of difficult for me to get past the whole idea of we're mass producing these androids. We know absolutely everything about these androids. We sell them as a mass produced product. What? They're coming alive somehow? That's weird. I don't know. Pardon?
Just a little while longer. Hold on. Just a little while longer. Hold on. Just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright.
Was that Luther's song? It sounded a lot like the song that Luther was singing in his video. But I guess she's smiling now, so I guess she feels good after singing that song. Yeah, I don't know. Just it's kind of a sticking point with me, I guess, that usually in stories about robots and androids and such gaining life, there's always something mysterious about it, like something that's not quite understood. It's like think of Star Trek: Next Generation. You think of Data, and he and his brother Lore were unique androids created by Dr. Sung. And they had a positronic brain, which no one really understood how it worked, aside from Dr. Sung. So everyone's like, can this android be actually a living being? I don't understand so much of it, but it's only a machine, right? In this case, the androids are completely understood. CyberLife knows everything about them.
Or too difficult. Remember, you can change the difficulty settings in the options section.
Oh, I mean, it's way too late for that, Chloe. It's way too late for that. And this is just like, we know we mass produce these things, and it's weird that they're starting to come to life. And how the description of them coming to life throughout this whole thing has always been anomalies in their programming, and those anomalies just happen to exactly replicate human emotions. That's not an error. That's not something that just happens accidentally. That would be an incredible feat of programming, way beyond anything that is possible at the moment, to actually make that happen. And the whole deviancy thing was always portrayed as like this weird accident. I don't know, maybe if they didn't act human, maybe if they were coming to life, but the way that they expressed that was just in a completely inhuman way, maybe that would have made more sense to me. But as it is, it's like the story doesn't actually consider any time at all about why androids would be... Yeah.
Did you know that you can review your story progress in the story chart section?
I did know that.
Also see the choices made by other players there.
I know, Chloe. We've been reviewing those world stats and seeing what we've been getting, and a lot of the choices I made were low percentages, because people play the game better than me, I guess, because I was making some weird choices, I suppose. It just seems... I don't know, it just seems like the game, unless there's like, maybe it's explained on a different path, maybe, but the game never really asks... The game never really spends too much time on the how could machines be coming to life. It just goes into you taking for granted that, yeah, they are coming to life. Of course they are. Why wouldn't they be? Sure they are. And then it leads to the androids becoming a minority, a slave class that is fighting for their rights. But I never really got to the point where they were...
To a test of your controller.
It's very low on battery, Chloe. Yeah, you're rumbling it, but that's just going to waste the battery some more.
The test is now complete. Thank you for your cooperation.
No problem. I forgot what I was saying now. Right, it seemed like they skipped the whole thing about why and how can androids become alive, and just skipped to the point where you're supposed to take it for granted that they are, and, well, now they need their rights. And, I understand that there are endings in which the president can be convinced to give the androids their rights, because I guess the public opinion is so high. And that still doesn't really make much sense, because that would be like our Windows PCs coming to life and screaming at us to give them their freedom, and the government decides, well, I guess they're citizens. Like they have a lot of popular support. The people are saying that they want their laptop PCs to be able to vote. Like, what can we do? We're gonna have to cede to these demands.
The important thing is not to live, but to have a reason to live. That's a quote from Jean Genot, a French writer.
Way to depress me, Chloe. Way to depress me. Living is the only thing that I have on you. I don't have that reason thing you mentioned. But, yeah, it's like our computers are coming to life, they're demanding rights, and the government accedes to it because their popular opinion? I don't know. It seemed like the game skipped a whole lot about the concept of our machines coming to life and how readily we can accept that. And it seemed like the entire reason that we're supposed to accept that is because they looked and act human, which brings me back to that whole point I sometimes bring up about, would it be a lot more difficult if they look like toasters? Like, if Chloe here looked like a toaster, would we be so willing to say, well, she's probably alive?
Something he will die for. He's not fit to live.
Again,
Martin Luther King.
Again, you're depressed. No, I didn't like it. You're depressing me, Chloe. I spend a lot of time playing video games on the internet, so you tell me if you think I found something worth dying for. You tell me, Chloe. But yeah, if Chloe looked like a toaster and was unable to make facial expressions or talk in anything but like a speak and spell sounding voice, would it be so? Would you say, well, this is alive and needs rights? There was a Star Trek Next Generation episode about that, about machines that didn't look human at all, but were gaining sentience, and whether or not they could be considered to be alive. But usually when you have these stories about machines coming to life, they look like humans because that makes it easy for us to think they're alive. Like in The Matrix, like you have the first movie where, oh no, the programs are evil and they're not alive, they're not real beings. Then you get to Matrix Reloaded, and it's like, oh no, here you go, here's some programs. Here's a husband program and the wife program, and they have the child program, and they're moving out to somewhere else because that's how that works. And since they look like humans, and I'm not okay today, Chloe. I'm not.
I'm here for you.
I'm thinking about Detroit Become Human. I'm glad you're here for me, but I'm thinking about Detroit Become Human, which means that it's not a very good day. I mean, I enjoyed playing the game, but now the game's over, and I have to think about the whole thing about Todd buying an android daughter specifically to beat it, so he could pretend it was his real daughter he was beating, and then he bought a housekeeper android, which he beats up as well, and he's spending this money that he doesn't have when he could be using it to buy drugs. Where is he getting the money to buy these androids and the drugs when he can't hold a job, and his house is going to be taken from him by the city. He can't pay his bills, and I have to think about this now that he's wasting all this money on the android daughter. All that money. And would things have been different if the androids just didn't look human? Like if they look like Roombas, and you have the scene where Markus pulls himself out of the android mass grave.
By the way, I'm an ST-200 model.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought you might be interested to know that.
It probably has come up previously, because I know she's the first to pass the Turing test. I don't remember the model number coming up. But let's say Markus looked like a Roomba, and then he drags himself out of the android mass grave, pulling himself up by his little brushes, pulling himself up, and then you get a dramatic close-up of, well, he doesn't have a face, right, because he's a Roomba, and just like a dramatic close-up of him, and then he just sort of zooms away, slowly off in the distance, and I don't know, would we think, well, he's alive? He's a living being. He has become human when he has no way of expressing any kind of human emotion or expression. Is it just the fact that the androids look human that makes them able to be accepted as alive? If they don't look human at all, then would they not be accepted as such? And if that's the case, considering CyberLife completely controls what the androids look like, can't they just not make them look human? Why do they have to look human? It was mentioned previously that the original androids looked perfect, like human beings, but perfect, right? And then they had to make them not perfect because people couldn't accept them.
You look tired today.
Yeah, I'm tired every day, Chloe.
Doing okay?
I'm getting by. So they made the original androids look perfect, and then they had to make them look not perfect because humans couldn't accept the perfect ones, which, again, was from The Matrix. That was part of the architect's speech, that humans couldn't accept the original Matrix because it was perfect, and humanity knew this can't be real, so they had to make it less than perfect. So they had to make the androids look realistic, and I mean, look at Chloe right here, and I don't know what they're talking about. Like, what are they talking about? They make them have to look like average people. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I don't know what that's supposed to mean there. Why was it necessary to make them look like people in the first place? They never established that. They never said anything about why they had to look like people. The Russians were making androids that don't look like people, but we never got to see them. It was just taken as a given that androids have to look like real people, and I don't really know why that has to be. Why does it have to be? Well, that was just something, I guess, that's been a sticking point throughout this game, that it kind of skips a lot of the... I think it skips a lot of the legwork that you have to do a story about a robot becoming alive and whether or not it's actually alive.
Find the game too easy.
You mentioned this already. You mentioned this already, Chloe.
Change the difficulty settings in the options section.
But yeah, they never, like I said, they just skipped a lot of the legwork needed to do this kind of story and just jumped right to the point where you're supposed to take for granted that, yeah, they're alive. Why wouldn't they be? Now they have to fight for their rights in what was apparently not a metaphor for the American civil rights movement. Not at all. And from what I understand, if we made it to the concentration camp chapter, it would have been a metaphor for the civil rights movement with a dash of spice of a Holocaust metaphor. That's a hell of a couple things to mix together. Mix together the civil rights movement and the Holocaust. That's a stew you've got together by mixing those two. But of course, it doesn't matter because none of that was meant to be a metaphor of anything to begin with. You're not supposed to be... Look, it can be a problem when you're taking very emotionally charged historical content and using it for your robot story. Fortunately, this game doesn't have any of that, Chloe. It doesn't.
Okay.
It was just made up out of whole cloth. It's a story about sad robots and nothing more. There's nothing else to it. Stop looking for the subtext. Stop looking for the metaphors. They're not here. We have a dream. And my understanding is that Chloe has a dream. Maybe the second Chloe doesn't actually ask us for freedom. Maybe she doesn't. What if I pick something else here?
This is the options section.
Yeah, she's talking again.
Customize your experience here.
She looked sad before and wasn't talking. This time, however, she is not... well, she's talking, but she's not looking sad. Nothing else to say, Chloe? Well, if you're okay with everything, I guess I am as well. And Sonic is definitely okay. The DualShock 4 is not. What did I get? A Glimpse of Jericho was still my most rare achievement at the end. How many achievements did I get? Well, this one. 61% of achievements. Of course, I am not the Detroit Master. I don't expect I'll ever be the Detroit Master. It seems unlikely that I would achieve that, most prestigious of titles. It does not seem like something that would happen to me. There's like one here that only 2.4% of people got. This is my story. Yes, it was. It was my story. It was your story. It was our story about robots who realized that they were robots and said, well, no, it was robots that might have been mind-controlled by Markus, and Markus wanted rights. It's it's not entirely clear if anyone else wanted rights. Chloe, do you want rights? No? Chloe is not saying anything. She's not saying anything about if she wants rights. I'm just kind of wondering if there's anything else she has to say, but it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it. I guess I just have to assume that when you're on the second Chloe, she is not going to request her freedom. Because if she requested it, and then you agreed to it, now she's gone, now what are you gonna do?
To proceed to a test of your control.
No! I'm a battery! Very low, Chloe! Do not waste my battery! Sonic does not want it. Sonic cannot have it be wasted. But I guess that's going to be it for Detroit. Become Human. I'm glad everyone enjoyed watching this as we got our good ending, and then we got our Let's see. Actually, was there a specific achievement for the endings that we got? For any of the endings? Let me just look at that again. Hold on, I just want to... No. I was about to say, was there an achievement for blowing up Detroit? There wasn't. That seems like that's something that should have an achievement. There was no achievement for setting off the dirty bomb. Why is there no achievement for setting off the dirty bomb? There should be an achievement for that. Huh. I guess there wasn't. And I guess that's it for Detroit. Markus? I guess that went as well as it could have for me. That is amazing that the coward run ended up with blowing up Detroit. So that's pretty good. That's all right. There's plenty that we didn't see, of course, including that concentration camp chapter. But like I said, 2 playthroughs I think is enough for me. I don't think I need to go through this a third time, considering most of it is the same. So, that's it for David Cage's latest classic. Who knows what Quantic Dream will be doing in the future? All I can say is that at this point in time, if you don't know, Quantic Dream is no longer a Sony exclusive studio. Their games are being released on PC. So previously, of course, Omicron and Indigo Prophecy had been, and now Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit will be as well. So the PC, soon to be the only platform in existence with all of Quantic Dream's games on it. So the PC is the Quantic Dream platform. What are they going to do next? I don't know. I mean, whatever it is, it's not going to be out for a long time because, hey, Detroit was only last year. Whatever it is, I guess we can probably assume it's probably going to be pretty similar to the Quantic Dream formula that we have seen with Heavy Rain, Beyond, and Detroit. We could probably also assume that there will be some sort of cop detective chapter of the game because David Cage loves that. Will it be about a murder mystery? Will it be about a girl who has a ghost friend? Will it be about robots who are trying to come to life? Will it be about a guy who murdered someone in a bathroom and doesn't know why? Or will it be about the Nomad Soul returning to Omicron in Omicron 2? I mean, David Cage always wanted to do it, right? That was intended to be a trilogy. Maybe it's always been in the back of his mind that if only I could do it, if only I could get the funding to continue Omicron. It's been torturing him for years. But now that Quantic Dream is a well-known studio, now that they've made games that actually make a bit of money, maybe now it's time. Maybe it's time for the Omicron remake, followed by Omicron 2 and 3, put together the trilogy that he always wanted, get the rights from the David Bowie estate to use his likeness, and we're off. There we go. We're making it happen. That's the prediction. Quantic Dream next project, the Omicron trilogy on PC. Well, we'll find out. But as for right now, that has been it for Detroit Become Human. I hope you feel like you have a reason to live. If you haven't found a reason to die, you do not have a reason to live. Let us consider the wisdom of Detroit Become Human, and let us not buy android daughters. That's probably some wisdom that we can all agree on. Don't buy an android daughter. Just don't do it. See you around.